Hey guys, wanted to come on here and do a video. I was kind of feeling inspired to do it. I had just posted some stuff on Facebook. I woke up early and I started doing my thing and posting a bunch of stuff, scripture stuff, things that I had shared yesterday, and it kind of just created them into reels and stuff. And then I posted a testimony that I needed to post on one of the groups that I am in. And I was having a discussion with my kids and earlier today, and we were talking about a picture that I had posted on Facebook, and that led to a lecture, and it led to like a lot of things that I wanted to share with them. But I wanted to come on here and talk about the importance of the role of a mom. I think sometimes we are a bit forgotten, and I think sometimes we can be taken for granted. One of the things that I shared with my kids was the fact that I've been a stay-at-home mom for a really long time, ever since I had my son Remy. I got married in 2007, and I ended up having Remy in 2008. So Remy's my oldest. He will be turning 17 soon. My younger daughter, she is 14, just turned 14 this year. And so they're getting older. And one of the things that I was discussing with them was being home as a stay-at-home mom. I've had to sacrifice a lot, and they've only known me as mom. They've never really seen the side of me where I work outside of the home. I have worked outside of the home. Like when my dad got sick, I went to go and work with at my uncle's provider agency. I worked with him for a little while. I worked with my aunt as well at her company, and I was renting apartments for a while for her for a long time. You all know because I always posted it on here. I worked with my sister with her companies, and I worked that from home. All those times I was able to make money from home. And I've always been a content creator. I've made money through Facebook, through YouTube. I've been able to advertise for other companies also on here. And you all have seen everything because I post a lot of the things that I've done on Facebook and stuff. And so they've seen more of that side. So they've always had mom at home, and they've always been able to have the privilege of having me at whatever time they've needed me. And I've had them as well because I've homeschooled them. I started homeschooling my son since 4th grade and my daughter since 1st grade. And so we've had the ability to be in each other's lives for all that time. And so the reason why I wanted to do this video was to kind of bring some light into the subject, because I feel that sometimes it can be overwhelming to think that we don't, like for me, like I have certificates, like I studied how to become a medical assistant. I worked at nursing homes. I was a department head. If I were to list all the things that I've done, guys, I have a long list of things that I have accomplished, but my kids don't see any of those accomplishments. They just see mom. I've served in many different things at church as well. I've had so many different callings, and they just still see mom. Or they just still see dad, right? But right now we're talking about mom. And so I wanted to bring this up because I feel that sometimes we need to bring awareness to our children that we are more than just a mom. We are able to carry a job. We're able to work outside of the home. We can have really great roles out in the world, but here at home, we're still viewed as mom. I think my biggest accomplishment has been to be a mom. I've loved to be a mom. A lot of people have looked down on that because I work from home. They don't see an accomplishment from that at times, but I feel that it's something that's personal, and I think it's something that is very true to me. It's very special to me. It's very rewarding to me, and that although I don't have any certificate to show that accomplishment, I will one day reap the benefits of seeing the wonderful people I raised, the wonderful people I was able to put out into the world and out into society. And so I get a lot of compliments on my children, and that brings me a lot of joy. I know that they are good people and that they service and they are my pride and joy. And so every sacrifice that I have made is to be able to be with them, spend more time with them, watch them grow, watch them become who one day they choose to be. And so I learned growing up in church that the calling of being a mom is very important. And I saw that growing up. I was able to have my mom at home with me. And yeah, she worked from home, and she would be like my dad's secretary, and she, did a lot of work with my dad and stuff, but she was always there for us. She was always there when we got home from school. She was always there to take us to church. She was always there to go to our things. She was there to comfort. She was there to provide a meal. She was there to give encouragement. She was there to watch us through our mistakes. And so, yeah, I think we need to give a bit more credit to all the things that moms do, not just because I'm a mom, but because I feel that not a lot of people have moms growing up and suffer in a lot of ways. I am grateful to still have my mom. I'm able to call her every morning. I sometimes bug her way too much. I call her like sometimes 2-3 times a day. I'm always calling her. I don't know what it would be like if I wasn't able to call her. It would be very hard. I know it was hard for me when I lost my dad to not be able to call my dad. And so I know that not having my mom would be even harder, because it's the first person who you feel attached to when you're born. And so, yeah, it's very hard. And yeah, so I was having that conversation with my kids in the morning. I was sharing a picture of them online, and people were starting to like it. And I know my kids are growing up, and I know it's hard for them to see like younger pictures of them at times because they want to hold an image or a certain status. And I was talking to them, and I was telling them how that is my accomplishment. That is a part of my life. That is a part of what I share online. I share them online because they are my pride and joy. They are my reward in life. They are my certificate of accomplishment of the things that I've been able to accomplish within all these years. And so I wanted to put it out there because I'm proud of being their mom. I'm proud of who they are. I'm proud of, all the things that they do. And so I was telling them how there are a lot of people on here who didn't watch them grow up. A lot of you guys have been on here for a really long time, and you guys have seen them grow up. And a lot of you haven't. You guys are barely seeing their baby pictures or seeing their younger pictures, or you guys, I don't get a lot of pictures these days because they're older and they want to show a certain side, or they want to show a certain outfit, or they overthink too much. And I think teens nowadays need to take a step back and not overthink so much. They need to just love themselves and enjoy who they are with all their imperfections. This morning I was sharing a video about me sewing, and that video was going to be deleted because Facebook is starting to delete all the old live videos. And so I took my moment, my shot, and I downloaded the video, and I thought I would reshare it. I had already shared it, but I thought I would remix it and reshare it. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to share how it's important to admire things that have imperfections. While I was doing the pin cushion, you guys can go watch that video, but I was creating this pin cushion. I went to a Relief Society activity at church, and I was creating this pin cushion. I knew, first of all, that I was not an expert. I knew that I was probably going to mess up, but I still showed up. I took my machine. I knew that I knew the basics, which was to thread the machine. I knew that I could put one together, even if it wasn't perfect. But I was going in knowing that I was imperfect, that I would probably mess up, and that there were probably going to be people there who knew more than I did. But I still showed up. I showed up. I went to the class. I went prepared. I took my shots. Granted, some of the times I needed to take some of the pieces apart and put them back together. One of the sisters had told me, just grab another one. We can make another one. And I said, no, I want this one. She said, no, go get another one. I was like, no, I want this one. And she couldn't understand why I wanted to keep the same one that I had taken apart and kind of it didn't look perfect. And I said, no, I want to keep it. I kept insisting that I wanted to keep it. And they probably didn't understand why. But to me, it was important to see it imperfect, because that means that there was things attached to it in my brain. How one of the sisters came and explained to me, you need to take this part apart and redo it and do it like this. Okay. And then the other one said, okay, cut this part up and you need to do this. And so they were kind of guiding me in every step of the way, groaning and moaning and whatever else I said, but I did what they were telling me to do. And some of them were helping me fill it, and some of them were guiding me every step of the way, and some of them were laughing with me and everything. And so that pin cushion to me is super important, because I'm going to have all these attached memories to that pin cushion, as imperfect as it was, and as one-sided was a little bit shorter than the other. To me, that was a perfect thing. And I think that God sees us that way. I think that God sees us with all our imperfections. Just like children are, in our eyes, perfect, I think that's how God sees us. Even with all our little flaws, I know that God sees us with all our imperfections, and He still loves us. That's how I see my kids. So when I post a picture of them, I'm not seeing any flaws. They will look at those pictures and they will see flaws. They will see, I didn't like my hair, or, why did I smile that way? Or why did I dress that way, or whatever? And I'm just seeing this perfect being that was given to me, and how much they've grown, and how important that memory was for me. And so I just wanted to share that we don't need to be perfect in everything. I know that my daughter was sharing with me, like, it's not that I have a problem with like taking a picture or sharing a video. It's just I don't like this a certain angle. And I told her, and I explained to her that if I waited for that perfect moment, I would never get it. I would never get that shot. And she kind of just laughed about it. But if we don't take a shot at the time that, in the time that we are allowed, you're never going to be able to capture that. And so I take my shots. These days, I take my shots. I will sometimes make them upset because I take a live video, or I will take a certain picture or whatever, but I take my shots because it's really hard to take shots nowadays when everybody wants pictures to be perfect. And so I will take my shot. And so like I came on here right now, like my hair is not done, my makeup's not done. I know this video is probably not going to be perfect, and I'm not going to, people are probably going to judge it and they're going to have things to say, and it's not going to be perfect, but I'm taking my shot and I'm putting it out there, and the Lord can do whatever he wants with this video. It might inspire somebody. It might make somebody angry. People might have things to say. People might think, I'm only mentioning stay-at-home moms and how what about the moms that go to work? I am just talking about motherhood in general. I'm not talking about how, stay-at-home moms are better than working moms. I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to say that. I'm just talking about the mothers and how we sacrifice a lot to bring up good, mannered children out into the world. And it's hard, and it's not perfect. And we cannot be crucified for whatever they choose to do in life. Our job is just to do our best, teach them as best as we can. The Lord will have a say in all of it. He will guide them in his way. He will help them in his way. All we can do is prepare them as best as we can and be there for them however we can, and put them out into the world to see what they can do. They will have triumphs. They will have challenges. They will have sad times. They will have moments where they need to pray. They will have moments where they need guidance. There will be moments where we mess up as parents. We're not perfect, but we are just trying to do our best. And I think that is our biggest reward, to see them grow up, to see all their little moments. And so I'm grateful for Facebook that holds all my memories, because sometimes it's like my phone is overwhelmed with so much digital content that sometimes I don't even know where a lot of these pictures are. So I'm grateful for Facebook that actually holds my memories and actually shows me on a daily basis. I sometimes go and look for content there, and I remix it and I reshare it because maybe somebody missed it that day, or somebody was too busy to watch that video or whatever. So I'm grateful for those who watch videos and who are able to see pictures or things that I post, because sometimes I run out of material, and sometimes I don't want to come out on camera, and sometimes what you're seeing is a reshared moment. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch videos or pictures and like them and stuff. I hope they help you in some way, somehow. Sometimes they don't even help you. They're just helping me. And that's okay. They don't always have to help you guys in something. I know I'm always trying to help in some way or somehow, but sometimes I just need to do it for me. And that's okay. There are days where I'm just trying to help myself. I'm not trying to help somebody. Sometimes we just need to do things for ourselves. And that's what today or yesterday was. I was just sharing a photo that made me happy, made me proud. And I was just indulging in my reward. I don't have any certificates to show that I'm a perfect mom. And I've done a good job all these years. I know I have. I know because I can see it in my children. They're not perfect, but they are perfect in my eye. And I know that the Lord loves them and will continue to bless them and will continue to guide me to continue to have the patience and the knowledge that I need to continue to be what he called me to be, which is a mom. And I really wanted to be a mom. I prayed so hard. I was so worried at some point that I thought I was going to be able to have children. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to. I know I went to my cousin Albert, Albert Duran, and I was crying and I was a mess, and I was telling him how I was having trouble with my menstruation. Sometimes I would get it, sometimes I wouldn't. I was not normal and stuff. And so I remember going to him and I was crying, and I remember he gave me this one pill and I took it. And I always tell the story about my son. My son always laughs every time I tell him. It's probably an overshare, but I'm just going to tell you anyway about how I prayed so much to be a mom. We had gone one time to the beach, to South Padre Island, and I had taken that pill already, but I didn't know what it was doing or whatever, right? I didn't even know if it worked or not. But what I do know is that I remember going to the beach with my brother and my sister-in-law. And I remember falling on a rock on my stomach at the jetties. And I remember falling like that. And I was scared because it was right next to the water, and I could have fallen in. Now I don't know how deep it was or anything, but I remember I was on a roll with getting so many fish. But I was wearing sandals, and I remember slipping on the rock, and I remember falling on the rock. And right after doing that, I don't know if it was a week or a day or whatever, I started feeling sick. And I was working at the time with my uncle at his CPA office. And I remember that I was feeling really sick. And I remember I had to go to the doctor, and I went to my cousin Albert's office. And I remember that that they told me that I think I took some tests as well. And then I went to go get it confirmed, and then I was pregnant. And so when I tell my son that story, he always laughs because he tells me that I got pregnant by a rock. Which is crazy, right? It wasn't that. It was a lot of prayer. It was probably a little help from that pill, but it was definitely a lot of prayer. And my daughter, well, she came three years later, and I prayed a lot for her too, because it was a long time before I could get pregnant. It wasn't easy for me to get pregnant. Like other people have to take birth control pills and all that to be able to not get pregnant or whatever. I had to pray a lot to be able to have my kids, and they were both high risk. And so, they scared me a lot. I spent a lot of time in bed, spent a lot of time bed bound. I was working, but had to spend a lot of time in the hospital. So when I had them, they were, Remy came out pretty normal. He was a little preemie, but not as bad. He had a little bit of jaundice when he came out, but Rihanna was definitely preemie. She was like about a month and some early, and she did have to stay behind. She was a lot more painful and a lot more hard to, I think my blood pressure dropped too, and she stopped breathing a little bit, and so they had to take her right away, and they put all these tubes on her. So she was in the hospital for a while. So they were some hard pregnancies, and so I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason why I've always wanted to stay home with them. I feel like such a I don't know. I feel very strongly about being so close to them, because I know that, I guess I felt like time was going to pass so quickly that I wasn't going to be able to enjoy them as much. And so I always thought that I needed to, at first it was like taking him to school, and that was fun, and the experience of all that was really cool and stuff. But even then, when I would leave him, like when I left Remy the first time in school, it was really hard for me. And my husband was like, he'll be fine. My husband's always been able to detach so quickly, but me, it was like always like, oh, like, it's my boy, or this or that. Or my daughter, it's like, oh, like, I always had a hard time, like, letting go. And so, when I chose to homeschool them, it was hard, very hard, because they came in with so much energy, and I was already so used to like sending them off to school. And so I had to like re-educate them about how we need to be quiet, because daddy worked from home, and how they needed to behave and how they needed to be. And like, now I don't have any problems with them. They behave wherever they go. They sit still. They are quiet. When hubby had to work from home, hubby's always worked from home. And so they're very quiet. They're very quiet, kids. And so whenever they're in an environment where it's too loud, they're kind of like doing this because it's like too much for them, because they've grown up in such quiet places. And the only other places they would go to were like the library, or like, I mean, they go out like to different places. I take them out. It's not like I don't. They go to restaurants. They socialize, guys. It's not like they don't socialize. But the other place where they really spend a lot of time is at church. And at church, both it's quiet, it's reverent, you know. So they've grown up to be quite the quiet children. So they're well behaved, well mannered, and they service a lot. And so I'm very grateful for them being that way. Maybe they don't have a ton of certificates in sports and have all these activities and all these other types of awards and stuff, but the award I get is to see them be good kids and just, you know, serve and love others and be kind and help where they can, and just, you know, they have all their talents. They're great artists. He likes to write. My daughter is super creative. She makes jewelry. She does her art. She just, you know, she played the piano beautifully until she didn't want to do it anymore. My son too. They're very creative human beings, and I'm just super proud to be their mom. And so I was telling them, yeah, you can't take that from me. That's one thing I won't allow is to be able to lose the opportunity to share my kids out there, because I'm a mom and I want to always brag about my kids like every mom. And so I need to create content that will help and lift others, but I'm also creating content for myself. And that is what I told them this morning, that is my reward. That is my certificate. That is my way of putting good out into the world and being able to give other people a little glimpse of, not that a lot of people appreciate it, but I do it because there's a lot more people that do appreciate it, that will send me messages and that will like my videos or like post things. It's not always for the likes. It's not always for the views. It's more of just, I don't know, I do it for myself. I don't know, I get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of sharing things online. And if it helps somebody, that's great. I know a lot of times these kind of videos help me. I enjoy watching other people's videos. I get excited when people like comment on them and actually watch the whole thing. Because I know people are busy and the internet is super crowded and there's so many things to see. And I don't know if I'm entertaining enough, but if people are watching the video, it's because the Lord brought you here. So I'm grateful for that. And for people even sticking by my page, because it's transitioned a lot. I was telling my mom the other day, because she was watching one of my videos. I'm like, Mom, I've just changed so much. I've been putting so many things out there. Like I get like different kicks here and there. You guys have seen me do just about everything. You saw me do makeup. You saw me do couponing. You saw me do DIYing. You saw me do crafting. I did cooking. Y'all seem to really love the cooking and the DIYing and the crafting. I've I'm doing this now. I do art. I put a little bit of everything out there. Right now, this is what I'm sharing. I still try to throw in a little bit of other things out there. I had gotten like a prompting to do a podcast, and I just didn't know really how to do that. So I had done the videos of like learning to love, and that was okay, but I just felt like it was hard to keep up with. So I'm just always going to keep changing my videos, guys. I'm sorry. I just go with whatever comes to me to share, and that's what I go with. And so, and then I know my husband's kind of like, he's kind of like used to me like posting pictures of what I eat and like videos of me cooking and stuff. So like, these past couple of days, I eat, right? But I don't share. And, I've been posting some like different food stuff because he's like, hey, el picture. And I'm like, sometimes I just don't take a picture of what I eat. And I know you guys like it. I think I get more likes on that stuff than on a lot of other stuff. And so I post my food and then you guys like it. And so hubby just tells, hey, una foto, or hey, do a video, or like, and I just think it's funny. It's cute. Because we like to watch a lot of videos. We'll like be scrolling on our Facebook and we'll be like looking at like food stuff. But I definitely like to watch like videos like of moms, or like story videos, or like just stuff that I can put in the background while I'm working or whatever. And I like to listen to people and stuff. And so I want to do the same for you. I want to share videos, but I just don't want to just come on here and just be like, oh, like, you know, I have to have something behind it. I have to like share some sort of something. Cause if not, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like I was all for doing this video. And then when I sat down and I put the tripod and I put everything, I was having all these second thoughts, and I was like overthinking, and I was like, stop it. You got your prompting to do it. Now do it. And so I'm doing it. So hopefully people like them, and hopefully people don't say any negative things, but if you do, it's whatever. I've gotten to the point where it's like, whatever. Yeah, like, I was telling my kids, like, you know, I put things out there and people are always going to have an opinion, and that's all right. People are entitled to their opinions and stuff. They're entitled to it, and you can't change them. They think the way they think, and they're going to say what they're going to say. So I'm to the point where, like, I don't know if it's age or what, or it's just too many things that have happened in the past couple of weeks that I'm just kind of like, whatever. Whatever. I mean, I'm not going to promise that one of these days I'm not going to snap, but like right now I'm just kind of like, whatever. You know, this morning I did have a moment. I did kind of like let it out, and I think my kids were kind of like, whoa, you know, like, why are you? But yeah, it's because it's just been very consistent where people always have something to say, and I kind of like let them know how I was feeling, and we kind of talked about it, and it got a little, you know, on my part, because I feel like people do always have something to say, but it's okay. If you don't put it out there, it doesn't serve a purpose. If you just like keep it to yourself, it's like, yeah, you can keep it to yourself. Like some people say, you don't have to expose everything. You don't have to like put everything out there. Or, like, why is she doing this video? Or like, just so many things that people think and say, and they have their opinions. But I do it because I want to do it. O sea, porque me da mi regalada gana. Por eso lo hago. Porque, because I want to do it, you know? And that's why I'm going to do it. Porque me da mi gana. That's the main reason. Hopefully it helps somebody, but also to show myself and whoever else wants to watch it that it's okay to not be perfect, that we're just moms trying our best, that we're not always going to get the recognition we wish we would get, but that we are important in God's work, and we are more than what other people think we are. We are very special people that were put on this earth to help guide, help create good, well-mannered, talented, respectful, positive people out into the world. And hopefully I've done a good job at that. I try. I try to lecture as much as I can, like my dad used to do to me. And I try to be as patient as my mom was with me. But I don't have a lot of patience. I'm not perfect. But I'm learning to have more patience, because I was taught to have patience by my mom. But I have a lot of my dad. And my dad wasn't the most patient. He gave really great lectures, and he learned to be patient with me. My mom has always been very patient, and she had to learn